And welcome back to Sandown International Raceway. First leg today, not only of the touring cars, but also the Superbikes. Peter Goddard on the Ansett Suzuki has scored pole with a 1:43.21, alongside Damon Buckmaster on the Kawasaki ZXR, a 1:43.25. Third fastest in time trials yesterday, Robert Baird on the Winfield Honda. Martin Craigle on the Team Kawasaki ZXR was fourth fastest. Fifth was Ben Archibald on the Fiberflash Kawasaki. Sixth, Jason McEwen on the Ducati. Followed then row number 4, Steve Martin on the Suzuki and Dean Thomas on the Honda. And rounding out the top 12, Sean Giles on the Ducati, Michael Bubb on the Kawasaki, Tony White on the Kawasaki, and another quacker with Troy Bayliss. Field just about ready to go as we welcome Neil Crompton from the Coke Commodore team. Be able to see a little more than he saw in his first ride here.
Green light, we've got a jump, and it was a tremendous start from number 4, Peter Goddard, on the Suzuki. And it is so slippery out there. 22 up the inside, Jason McEwen. I would not like to be out there on a Superbike, Mark Osler.
Yeah, a touring car looked like hard enough work from the race cam inside your car. I can't imagine what it's like out on these things. Very, very icy, slippery conditions. You saw the touring cars sliding around. Superbikes now get onto the back straight for the first time, and it's Jason McEwen indeed on the factory Ducati.
That was Sean Giles buried back in the pack a little on 19. That's a good lead.
Peter Goddard, the pole man, at 1:43.21, still just over a second outside the lap record in qualifying in the dry, so not quite as quick here as previous meetings.
Martin Craigle and Damon Buckmaster there, as well as they take the turn down onto the longer course.
Very, very slippery stuff. The Kawasaki's bunched up there. Goddard gets shuffled back another couple of positions on the Suzuki. Still struggling with setup, trying to get a bit more drive out of the corners. Now they're using the slower infield part of the circuit. That really is a critical factor to have in the chassis. But he's done a great job in qualifying. And Jason McEwen there on the jig, and you saw him running out of the shot there. At a bike tree, Damon Buckmaster.
Yeah, Buckmaster showing real turn of speed here. One of the things that we'll need to look out for is when they're under brakes at the end of the front straight, where there's various different patches of road, and the grip varies as you run across them, and that, I would imagine, on one of these things is going to be a real handful as they wind their way up towards the Dandenong Road end corner. Double left-hander, make their run back under the Dunlop Bridge.
We thought for a moment there that the weather may have been lifting. Looks like another cloudburst coming across, so the track remaining very, very wet. Jason McEwen in control.
I wonder whether the Ducati power characteristic is going to be better in these sorts of conditions. I guess we'll see.
Could be indeed. You can see the wind blowing there, rain coming in, treacherous conditions on the Superbikes, but they're doing it very bravely. McEwen really has opened quite a gap here on bike 3. Damon Buckmaster. They come onto the main straight. You can see them slipping and grappling for traction side by side. Bike 16, Thomas standing in for the Honda team, the RC45.
It's about a 3-second lead at the end of lap number 1. The Kawasaki working across the water. They're very, very pleased with the grunt they're getting out of the Kawasaki's. I understand for 95, they've made some improvements.
Well, in both the Superbike class and the 600cc Supersport category, which is growing at a rapid rate below this. Kawasaki has representatives, factory representatives in both classes. Goddard really is rounding him up here. He leans on him as he gives him a tap and pushes his way through. Buckmaster may have thought about coming back under brakes, but the Suzuki very well balanced, and Goddard, an absolutely expert wet weather rider, spent a lot of time in 500cc racing in Japan. Anyone who spent some time in Japan knows it rains an awful lot over there.
There's 69, Benny Archibald.
That's a pretty good scrap at the moment. These guys battling for 7th and 8th. You can see very little between them, and just behind them is Baird on 9. Ben's hanging in there at the moment. Will he be able to survive the attack at the end of the back straight? It's a big, hot, hard, heavy stop here. Oh, look at the back of Martin's bike. Had it locked up, slithering in. Made the pass, though. That's what it's all about. And did it with a couple of bike lengths.
David Emerson, that is, Neil, from Victoria.
Oh, looks like he's walking in, which is a good sign, but pretty disappointing start to the year for David.
This is the battle for 11, 12 and 13. Maxwell and Alexander. And Ognessus, I think it is, in there. Separating those two, they head down the back straightaway. Or you'd have to be keen to have a peek behind you, wouldn't you?
The news is not good, so keep looking forward.
So they can tuck down for the final run up the back straight, almost a kilometre long. the back straight. They really do reach some incredible speeds, certainly in excess of 200,
Here we
240
go.
kilometres an hour. Under brakes, Craggle has a big go. They'd be just about side by side. I think Craggle may have the edge. Yes, he does. Well, it's the only time he was going to do it. Only had one chance left. Let's see if Buckmaster can fire back on the inside as they come down toward the hairpin for the final time.
Setting up for this right-hander. Is he going to have him to do it? This is exceptional Superbike action, and it's only round one. We've still got a few of the stars to come back, and look at this, the battle at the moment for third and fourth. Damon Buckmaster trying to catch Martin Craggle at this stage.
Buckmaster uses a lot more body language, doesn't he? He's wrestling the bike.
Well, he was very impressive on the 600 Supersport at the Triple Challenge at Eastern Creek a couple of weeks ago. So he's shown himself a very adept rider, whether it's 600 or 750.
Not far from a conclusion. Shell Superbike Series round one, race one. McEwen will be arranging himself to come on to the start-finish line area as this battle continues for third and fourth. Goddard, I reckon, is a safe second. This is the dispute. There's the leader. Team are wrapped, and it's been a tremendous ride, and he's blown them away. Checkered flag and a great win to McEwen on 22. Great performance on the Ducati. And it is daylight to second place. Peter Goddard on the Ansett Air Freight Suzuki. Here he is. And that was a great ride. Yes, and he's wrapped, and he should be too. Didn't make a mistake, and that's great to see.
10 seconds in arrears was Goddard. As we look at the race score, Jason McEwen on the Ducati was first, Peter Goddard second, Martin Craggle third, Damon Buckmaster was fourth, and rounding out the five on the Ducati, Sean Giles.